Hi everybody, I am, here we go, Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty. I'm going to go live today showing you some fun cards using 6x6 designer series paper. I'm going to cut it, actually I'm going to cut it down to 3x3 and I'm going to show you what to do with that. So let me just make sure we are in fact live. There we are. Click this. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, we're on. I think there's people there. Say hi. Let me know if you're on. If you're watching for the first time or a returning crafter, let me know. I'm actually looking. I think it's time to dye the hair. It's looking pretty white up there. Oh, great. So Mary Lou's there. Hi, Nancy's here. Perfect. I'm actually very excited to show you what I came up with. From my own brain, as one of our stampers used to say. Hi, Kim. Perfect. All right, so I'm actually going to do this. I think I have enough light without my lighting. It's not white, it's blonde. Oh God, it is so not blonde. It is white. And I've been dyeing it since I was 24, so I am genetically disposed to having white hair. But that's okay. I'd rather have hair. All right, so let me turn the camera. Oh, this should be I said this last week, but this should be the last week that yeah, thanks, Susan. This should be the last week that I turn it and spin it. I signed up for StreamYard and I got some things in order. And this is my daughter's last week at home before we take her to school this weekend. And so we've been going to appointments and shopping lists and all that stuff. So I didn't get to finalize it. I think what I need to do is actually create a private Facebook group so I can just practice on that to make sure that I'm pressing the right buttons because I don't want to screw it up, but the potential is going to be good. All right, so hi Debbie, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to flip and spin, hopefully like I said for the last time. Let me make sure we are where you want to be. See my table. I'm actually looking upside down to make sure it is so not straight. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to straighten my paper and then fix the camera. There we go, because I can't do it crooked. All right. I think that's good. All right. And so, yeah, I think we have enough light. Perfect. Like I said, that should be the last time we spin. Hi, Ethel. Thanks for joining. Perfect. We got a great group today. All right. So in my email yesterday, I showed you a way of using or cutting and using 6x6 paper. And I mentioned 6x6 is not my favorite size. I feel like sometimes it gets wasted. Like I have all these scraps, right? And so sometimes that's okay, but sometimes I feel like they get wasted. So one template I showed in the email was to cut, I think 2 inches over, down, and then half at 3. So you have 4x3, 4x3, 2x, and this could be whatever you want, 2x5 1/4, and then you get a little strip. So I was really happy with that, and I saw that online. It wasn't my own idea. What I'm going to show you today is my own idea, and I thought of another way of cutting the 3x3 paper. Hi, Laura. And so, yeah. Okay, so we're going to use, this is the Regency Park Designer Series paper. It's in the new mini catalog. It's beautiful, and you guys know I love Night of Navy, and so it is packed with like lots of Night of Navy kind of colors in there. And so these are actually going to be white bases. Yesterday's were all navy blue, but I'm going to do white bases today. All right, sorry, we're still crooked. How do I fix this? No. Let's see. I have that little delay. I did a little bit down. All right, sorry. Oh God, you should see my camera. All right. Is that better? That's a little bit better. This needs to go up. All right. So like I said, 6x6 Regency Park. I am going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I think 5 cards. I'm not going to show you the samples first because I'm making them slightly different. All right, so we need our paper trimmer. I'm going to use this pattern. I'll use a different pattern similar but different pattern in my example. So what we're going to do is just cut it 3 by 3. So we're going to cut it in half, and then we're going to cut it in half again. So we have these two 3 by 3, and these two 3 by 3. And so you're saying, that's kind of boring. But wait, there's more. It's not going to be boring. All right. So that's what you're left over, right? With instead of a 6 by 6, you get 3 by 3. So we need that for actually an extra card. All right. So I'm going to use, I think I'm using just this stamp set. I tried to find one. I used each of these words or sets of words. You can use whatever stamp set you want. I was just trying to find some words that fit the shapes. So I'm also only going to use, only with an asterisk, only using the Stylish Shapes dies. Again, for these labels, you can use anything. But I didn't want to be pulling too many products to show you all the examples. So this is the only stamps that I'm using, and these are pretty much the only dies I'm using except for some leaf dies. And then that's it. So those I already have all cut out. And actually I already have them pre-stamped, but I just wanted to show you what I was using. Okay, so the first card, put these aside. We're just actually going to use the full 3 by 3 by itself. So this is a very simple card, but sometimes I think we forget. Just looking, I don't have my silicone mat up here. Sometimes we forget to make 3 by 3 cards. So I cut 3 by 6, scored it in half, so it's a 3 by 3 card. And this is just going to go straight on it. It's going to cover it. There's going to be no borders. And I think that's pretty, it reminds me of denim. If you look, I don't know if you can see close, it has a little bit, this one has a little, like a little denim, which is going to actually match some of the ribbon we'll use on other card. Actually, I'm going to use on this card. So I already stamped my greeting. I did thanks. And so I cut this, obviously, I stamped it and then I cut it with the stitch shapes. But you can see I cut it so that this point is closer than this point. So I tried, I made it smaller, and I showed you guys how to do that another time with you take your die and you cut it once, run it through, and then you shimmy this over, and then you run it through again, and you get a smaller. But then I thought, it's okay, but I just thought it just didn't look right to my eye. So this is what we're going to do instead. I'm going to take the score. Nancy, sorry, 3 by 3 are not mailable, so you'd have to put it in another envelope, or this is good, like if you make like pumpkin bread and you give it, or if you're actually giving a gift and you can give in person the 3 by 3, but it's not mailable. Is the cardstock or regular paper? For the white, I use thick, but you can use regular white, it's fine, doesn't matter. All right, so I'm just gonna put this over along my track blade, and I'm gonna score. Just want to make sure it's kind of around, trying to get the same width here and here, so it's kind of even. So I scored it, and what I'm going to do is just put it on my, oops, not that way, this way, and I'll just glue it so you see a little bit on the inside. But I'm going to take a little ribbon first. So this is the new, what's it called? Bordered ribbon, the Night of Navy bordered ribbon. And I'm just going to cut a little piece. Oh, shoot, I didn't bring my ribbon scissors up. Oh, those did okay. I have one pair of my paper snips that doesn't do a good job on ribbon. That does okay. All right, so I'm going to stick that there. And so this is actually the sample I made. I glued it down, and then I glued the paper down. So actually, I guess I could do that again. You could use glue dots, you can use tear and tape, whatever. I'm gonna glue it. It just takes the glue a few minutes to dry. But I'm gonna just put glue on top of here. So I'm just gonna put 2 little dots on that flap and glue on that edge. I'm going to center that over the ribbon and then just fold this over and squeeze and squeeze. And you could put gems on here, that would look nice, but I think it's pretty just kind of as it is. So that is a super simple card. That's just it with different colors. And that's my other paper. So it's similar, it's just slightly different colors. I actually thought it was a little bit more different when I was making up the samples, but it's pretty similar. All right. Oh, good. You like it. Perfect. And so you could even put extra paper on the envelope or whatever, but they do sell these 3x3 envelopes in the annual catalog. And it just fits in real pretty. Okay, so that's card number 1. Like I said, super easy. Card number 2 is kind of easy too, and then we're going to step it up a little bit. All right, so card number 2, I'm just going to use a regular thick white. All the rest are going to be thick white, but you could use regular white. Before they even made thick white, we used just regular white as bases. And so, where's my extra 3x3? This is where it's going to get dangerous. I'm going to pile things up. So my other 3x3 that we cut, and again, you can put this wherever. A lot of cards are put here with a border around it and like a little, you know, like a greeting. Even that looks pretty simple, but it looks pretty. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I didn't limit myself to only 1 sheet of paper. So because I have the whole pack of paper, right? So I cut a different pattern. This one is 4x4. So I'm going to put this down. And I'm just going to center it. And this pattern actually shows, we now have an embossing folder that does the same pattern. I think it's called the cane weave embossing folder. So I actually use that in my samples from yesterday's email. And by the way, if you are watching and you're not receiving my emails, be sure to sign up for them. I send out emails every Tuesday afternoon, and sometimes maybe a couple more, but every Tuesday afternoon one goes out at 1 p.m. Eastern. So all you need to do is just go to mailsomethingpretty.com and then just there's a right sidebar and you just fill your name and email, or if you wait, it's like 8 or 11 seconds, a pop-up will show, and then the same thing, you just put your name and email, and that's how you sign up. All right, so I'm going to put my 3x3 there, but what I'm also, I already showed you my words, and again, this is all from that same stamp set. I stamped this in Petal Pink, and I used Night of Navy ink for all of them. And rather than go like that, which looks pretty, I decided to put my circle down first. Again, I just centered it, left a little blue there. And then I'm going to put my 3x3 down. You can see all the different patterns of the paper. And I'm going to, I think that's centered, put that down. And then I'm going to use some leaves. So I already cut out, hopefully I have enough, yeah. I already cut out some leaves, and that is not the stamp, not from the Stylish Shapes. I just wanted to show you, this is a new, and I've only used the 2 leaves. You can see I haven't even taken the dies off, but I used, it makes one cut out, and then one, it cuts it out, but it also kind of embosses it a little bit. So it might be a little hard to see. Yeah, I think it's going to be too hard to see because I didn't turn the light on, but there's a little embossing in there. So that's where I got my leaves, and it is a new bundle called Brush Bouquet in the annual, not in the annual, in the Occasions catalog. But everything else is cut from the Stylish Shapes. All right, so I'm going to, I think we'll do 2 leaves like that. And then this is just going to go right on top. So just put a little dab of glue. Oh, I meant to bring out my tweezers too. I usually sometimes I take a walk after the live, But today I actually took a walk before the live. My son asked me if I want to go for a walk, so of course I said yes. And I thought I had everything in my basket, but I didn't put, I used to have tweezers up here. They seem to have disappeared. I think my daughter took them. I should ask her before she goes back to school. All right, so I just put 2 dimensionals. And that's just going to go right on top. So you have, you know, a half circle, just a different way. I could have done the whole circle. And again, I could put gems on there. Today I chose not to use gems, but I think that would look nice. But if you don't like this white space, look what you can do. Just cut it off. So you could either cut it off a 1/4 inch on each side. So, you know, it still fits in the envelope. Or if you wanted to make it square, you would just cut another 1/4 inch. But I kind of like that border. And that's what I did with my other one. So let me pull that out so you can see both. So I just used a different contrasting paper, but I did the same thing, opposite leaves. But I kind of I like the border. I like square cards too, but it was a little different. So that is my number 2. All right, so now we're gonna get into the little bit more, I don't wanna say non-traditional, but a little different. Okay, again, I have my thick white base and I have a layer, look at I labeled it. This is just regular basic white, 3.5 by 4 1/4. And I have my little words there. And then where's my other? Here's my 3 by 3 because we cut 4 of them, right? So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this some more. So since it's 3 by 3, half of 3 is 1.5. Half of 1.5 is 3/4. So I'm going to cut 4 3/4 strips. And you can leave them in order so it continues the pattern, or you can mix them up. All right. I'm glad you like it. Excellent. I'll show them all at the end. So now I have 4 3/4 by 3 inch strips. And so I'm going to put those on here. I already did the measuring for you. So the 3.5 by 4 1/4 fits perfectly. And so if you line them up, maybe make that a little bit bigger. Okay, that's pretty even. Hopefully it's even. So I'm going to start with the top. This is where my tweezers came in handy. My hands weren't working so good. And then I'm actually going to go to the bottom. Sometimes I do that when I'm trying to center things, because then I can center these two to make sure that they're right distance apart. I think this paper is so pretty, but this would work with lots of papers. I was going to use the other 6 by 6 pack that I have an entire pack of, is the By the Bay, and that's, I think I used some of that yesterday. I was going to make 2 sets of samples, but then I ran out of time. And so, but By the Bay would work, or you can cut your 12 by 12 down to 6 by 6 too. All right, so I'm going to, oh, how did that get crooked? Sometimes they slide when I'm not paying attention. There we go. Did that get crooked too? Ah, that might be too late. Okay. I'm going to put ribbon on there. I forgot. So again, this is that same ribbon. And I'm just going to tie a notch. No bow. Just a knot. Or a double knot. And I really like this ribbon. All right, so I'll slide that down a little bit. Actually, I think I might put it in that whole white spot so it doesn't change the paper. Let's see if these will cut the diagonal. Yep, that's okay. And so do you see I cut on this angle and then I spin it around and I cut that same angle again? That's kind of how I cut. So then they, I don't know, just flows better rather than try to cut that way. All right. Yeah, no bow. That was for you, Mary Lou. All right, so now I'm going to put on my dimensionals. There we go. And I just have mini ones up here, so I'm just going to cut some into bigger. I actually think a bow wouldn't look as good on this one. I think the knot's better. I think a bow, I'll show you the other sample in a second. I think it would be too big and bulky. All right, and let me do one in the middle. Okay. And I like, once I put this together, I like the white on white layer, and you certainly can do, depending on your paper, you could make, instead of using white, you could use a color. You could use another pattern. But I actually kind of like that white today. A little crisp. These cards are kind of on the crisper side today. Okay, so you already saw I had my label, so that's going to go right there. And I'm going to put some more of these leaves. I don't know if any more are embossed. No, I think I used them all because I like them. So we'll just have plain ones. Oh, that one's embossed. Okay. So that, usually what I do is I try to figure out where I want them. Well, I have that there. And then I lift them up a little bit. I'm just going to squeeze a little glue and a little glue, and then move it again because it was too symmetrical. There we go. And then I will just, now the mini dots come in handy because I will make like a little line on the top and the bottom. So we'll straddle, I'm all sticky, we'll straddle the ribbon. Take those off. Oh, that one's still on, okay. And then this is just going to go right on top. Like that. So that was a 3x3 square of paper. And now, let me show you the other one. They're strips. So I think that's pretty. Alrighty. So the next one, okay, now we're getting a little crazy here with some cutting. All right, same thing. The base is same, thick white. And I'm taking my, this is actually my fourth 3x3 square. And I'm going to cut it again. And then you can see, I probably should have turned the light on. Let's see. Hold on a second. It's getting dark, so I'm going to turn the light on. All right. Is that better? I might have a glare, but I think you can see better. Okay. So what I want you to see, I'm going to cut it on the diagonal. So I could put one tip in the cutting bay and one right here on the track. But what I discovered this morning is if you put this all the way up to the top, so it's hitting, and so my point is still in that cutting track, and this point is in that cutting track, it will cut. That will be handy for the next card. All right, so I have two triangles. Equilateral, right? My daughter loves triangles, so I actually gave her triangle earrings and a triangle necklace for Christmas, and she was so excited. Like, she just loves triangles. All right. She's a math major, so that's why. All right, so I already cut 2 more triangles in contrasting paper. Again, it was a 3x3 square. I did exactly what I just did. I also, oh, unless I lost it. Maybe I did. I had polka dots in case I liked the polka dots better. Oh, here it is. All right, so we will kind of put it together and then we'll decide which we like better. And I wasn't sure because I stamped this on petal pink, so I didn't know if it'd be too much petal pink. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna open this flat for a second. All right, I'm just reading comments. Kathy says, love this card. Yes. It would be a great way to use up scrap paper. It is perfect. And that's kind of where my thought process, well, first it was to use 6x6 paper, which again, is not my favorite size. But everyone has scraps pieces of paper. So now really you can, these are all based on a 3x3, which is a scrap size. All right, so I'm going to put those in the corner, but I'm also going to layer them. Let's just go in the middle. So let's see, I have a feeling I might like the petal pink better, but I'm giving the balmy blue a chance. Let's see. This goes that way. Again, I'm just kind of what I call dry mounting first. And then this is going to go here as well as some leaves. But let me just see. The problem was there's no balmy blue in this pattern of paper, but there is in the pack, and that's why I wasn't sure if I liked it. You guys can vote too. I might overrule you, but you can vote. Let's see. Oh, I have it. Yeah, that's how I had it. Okay. So then I think I like this one better. So if you voted, it's too late. I think the leaves will break up the pink. Okay, so I'll save those for another card. So I wanted to show you, I have the same leaves, but I don't know if you can tell on this one is sparkly. Because I figured with, you know, being extraordinary, you needed a little something extra. So I cut these leaves. Can you see that they're sparkly? Yeah, I think you can. They are from this paper. So there's 3 colors, and you get 2 sheets of each color in this pack, and I think it's just called Fine Shimmer Paper. But you get fresh freesia. It's just beautiful. The soft succulent, and you get gold. And I have to tell you, the gold looks so sharp with navy blue paper. I don't have any solid paper, but the gold looks really sharp with navy blue. But that's where I got that from. And that is in the Occasions catalog. And it's also for those who got the paper share. It's in your paper share, which will be going out hopefully tomorrow. It's all cut. I'm just getting some things together. I have to package it all up. All right, so then we're going to, oh, before we put the leaves on, I thought to step it up a notch. Let me show you my sample. And I'm not sure. We'll see. I put some of that ribbon underneath it, but it's a little bulky. Where'd it go? It was a little bulky to like put the whole thing on. So I cut it in half. So I took one and I just cut it up the middle. And then I just wrapped it around. Let's see, I wrapped it around my fingers. Usually I do this with twine, so it's not as bulky. Let's see. And then that one, it might be okay. It breaks up. So let's glue some of these pieces down. All right. Hello, Carolyn. Thanks for joining. All right, so I'm gonna glue this triangle to this triangle. And so rather than put glue on this one, which goes on top, I'm actually gonna put glue on this one, just in a small bit. And so then this can go on top. I'm gonna actually use those polka dots as a guideline to be straight. And same with these ones. I'm gonna, just a little triangle of glue there. And then, oh, these polka dots might not line up. Is that the same width? Yeah. I don't think that's right. Hold on, that's not right. Hold on. I did that with another card. Oh, I was making a video the other day and I totally glued it wrong. Yep, see? Oh, I'm actually doing these inversely. That's okay. So look at the polka dots on the inside and now it's on the outside. That's okay. They'll look different. So now I can put glue on the whole thing. That had a little extra glue on it. All right. Oop. Sometimes when I pat it down, I slide it. It moves just like that. All right, I'm going to take, when this is dry, I'll take that eraser and get rid of that glue that's there because I glued it the wrong way. All right, so now let's take, is that the one I want? Oh, let's do it this way. Let's put our dimensionals on so then we can stick it right on top of the ribbon. That might be the best way of doing it. All right, Mary Lou says, clever use of triangles. Thank you. They can go inside or outside. Exactly, and still look awesome. Good. Good, good, good. All right. All right, so let's try this again. Again, I usually do this with twine, but I said let's try it with our ribbon. So I'm just going to hold that down. I can always take it off if that's too, actually that's okay. And then we'll just stick our leaves behind. So I want to kind of focus on the shimmery ones. So put this one down, and then this also breaks up that white stripe that's in the middle. And again, I could have used a regular rectangle layer like we usually do, and then put the triangles down. But I think this works. Let's see, this one I might put underneath so it's not exactly the same. All right, so that one will go first. It's pretty with a shimmer paper. And actually the ribbon has a little sheen to it too, the edging. All right. So again, this has to be a little bit kind of over the top just because of what it says. You make the ordinary extraordinary. And what I would probably do on the inside, I didn't cut little strips of some of the extra paper, but I'd probably just line the sides with a stripe. So there you go. This looks a little bit neater than this one. So that one might get fixed later. All right, so for the last one, wait till you see what we do with the triangles. All right, so I used all 4 of my squares, so I have to cut some more squares. Hi, Vicky. Oh, good morning from Australia. Hello, hello. All right, so if you missed, I'll show you again the cards that I just made, but if you missed them, you can just go back and watch the replay, and I will post photos of the finished ones as well. All right. I don't forget how many we need. So again, I just made the 3x3 squares like we did. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make our triangles. So I'm going to put this right into that. There's like 2 stopping points. So that's how it gets straight in the point. And then you really just have to line up the 1 point. And then we're going to do that again. And then, because I forget how many we need, let's do 1 more. I'll have extras, but I'll just make up another card because this is my finale card. I like it. So what we're going to do is do it again. We're going to make a smaller triangle. So I'm going to put this again right in that ridge. And then it kind of straightens itself just because it fits these 2 bumps. But you have this line here, so you can eyeball it to make sure that that's straight so that you do get the triangle. So there's 2, and I'll do 2 more. I think. And you know what? 1, 2. I forget. Let's actually do one more. I think I forget. I'm gonna do one more just so I have the cutter here. So I'm doing more triangles than we need. I just can't remember how many triangles I need. All right. So I'm gonna take one more and cut it even smaller. Oops. All right, so I think I only need 2 of those. So I have those 2 triangles, I have this size triangle, and then I have the bigger triangles. Okay, all from a 3x3 piece of paper. All right, so let me just make piles, triangle piles. Those are my big ones, those are my mediums, and those are my 2 little. All right. Yeah, Nancy, I'm glad you like the chip. I just came up with that this morning. I love these lives. They make me think. I'll just leave it at there. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm just, again, thick white. I'm just going to leave it flat so it sits flat. And so I'm actually just going to, I'll show you the model in a second, but I'm just going to, oh, wait, these are too big. Hold on a second. Yeah, I think this is the size we need. Okay, I might have to cut more of those. So look at this design. So now we're going to flip over, right? Because the papers have 2 sides. So you want to do this with a pattern that work together. And most times they choose paper or they design paper that works together both sides. So look at this little geometric pattern. Oh, my lines even line up. See, you'll see on my other one, they're different stripes, so they didn't line up. We'll see if I like that. I could always change it. All right, so then this one goes here. This one goes here. So I was doing a little puzzle making this morning with the cards. All right, I do need to cut. I'll just do this off camera. Just made another triangle. Hold on, this one needs to be this way. And this one goes, yep, just like that. Okay, phew. All right, so I have extra triangles, so I'll straighten these out a little bit as I glue it down. So you do have a middle that's not a triangle. So you could, we're gonna cover it up, but if you wanted to cut something, you could do that. So here is my other sample. And then, so let me glue these down. Let me find my glue. And so I'm gonna start, what I did on my other card was I kind of worked this way and this way to make sure that they were straight. So I'm gonna start with this one. Again, those tweezers were handy, but they are downstairs. All right, so that is straight. And this fits in here straight. Took a screenshot of this to copy later. You are so smart. I'll post pictures too, but good for you. Yeah, as I was playing with it, it kind of came together, but on camera, I just copied it because I knew I would have probably mixed something up. All right, so again, so I worked this way, and so now I'll work this way, and that seemed to help rather than go back and forth. Another way of using up your scraps, and so I only used really one piece of paper with 2 patterns, but you could totally use multiples. You could do solids. I'll have to copyright this pattern. Oops. Come up with a, uh-oh. Getting silly and I'm losing my pattern. Oh, look what I did. That's all right. This white border is thicker than this white border. So what I could do, hold on. we'll see what it looks like, but I could always trim my card so it's a little skinnier. All right. Let's see. Well, I think maybe I might trim it just a little bit, just because we just take 1/8 of an inch off. And so I'll do that on both sides. Do you guys ever do this? If things aren't straight, you just trim your card? All right. Oh, shoot. I was talking and I took off too much. I meant to do a tiny little bit more. All right, so that went in a little bit to my point, but that's all right. It's even. Okay. Again, if I was doing this not on camera, I would be paying a little bit more attention. And I lost my... Oh, no, this is the one I want. Okay, you've been on my mind, which I love that saying. And so, again, I'm going to use... Oh, I have one sparkly one left. Let's see. Maybe I'll use one sparkly and one plain. All right, so on this one, I put ribbon underneath, and you may or may not be able to see there's a little glue residue. I'm not going to do that on this one because I put the ribbon down and I just glued it down. I should have put glue dots down. Oh, actually, I can do that. I can do glue dots with ours. But the problem is, when I put the tag on top, it stuck to the ribbon, and the whole thing, because the ribbon wasn't really secure, it wasn't sticking as good as I wanted it to. So I might not use ribbon. But I do want to cover up that little white gap in there. So let's see here. So there we go. Do I have one more leaf? No? Oh, yep. Oh, I have a sparkly one. Perfect. I'm going to put a sparkly one down here too. That way there's 5. Oh, but I think I might put the sparkly. I don't want them completely symmetrical. There we go. All right, and I think I'm going to squish them a little bit closer. So... I'm going to push these down a little bit. A little glue. A glue. And then you guys are being quiet. Quiet. I can hear my clock ticking. I'm thinking. I'll check the comments in a second. And then this one will go on top. Hopefully that works. Let's see. We have a little time here with the glue to move things around. Oh, getting a little finicky. All right. So let's see how we can put our ribbon on, because I do like it. All right, so I think we'll do it this way rather than how I did it before. So I'm just going to cut on a diagonal. So it's just one strip rather than the overlap. And again, I could use glue dots, but I'm just using glue. And that will dry. You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's do tear and tape. Love the white space around the pattern paper. Kids do a mask. Yeah, you could really, you could have fun with this. The new animal print paper, that would look really cool because it's shiny and it's shiny on one side and matte on the other. Oh, darn it. But that would look really cool. You could have fun with this. All right, let's see if this works. I don't think it needs ribbon. Pretty as it's. Oh, thanks, Nancy. Now it's too late because I have glue on there, so I have to cut it up. So again, if I had a thicker greeting, I probably wouldn't do the ribbon, but I wanted to use each of the sentiments in this set, which I'll show you the set again for anyone who is coming in late. If I can get this separated. Determined to finish it. There we go. Okay, phew. All right, so I will have to, now it's even shorter. Okay, it's all right. It's gonna be a little frayed. So what I wanted to show you, this is where I was getting at. I could use dimensionals, or I forgot that I have these, to be honest. They're the foam adhesive sheets, and I usually use these for like shaker cards, right, to make like a border. But they're great for skinny things, for skinny labels. So I'm just going to cut, I know that's the size I had before. And so I'm going to put one on the top, one on the bottom. Just because I have that ribbon there, straddle it. And these just peel off. I totally forgot I had these, so oops. I'll be using them a little bit more, but they're great on these narrow pieces. All right, so this is gonna go right there. You've been on my mind. And again, if you had some gems, there we go. All right, so those are those two, and I'll bring all of them out again for you to see. Move some stuff over. All right, put the cover right in front of me. Glue, put that in its holder. All right, so let's bring them all out. So those are the last two I just did, kind of from easy, right? We started with the 3x3, just the little square cards. And then we went to, I kept the 3x3, but then I added a 4x4 piece of paper, pattern paper. And then I just want to make sure those are on the screen. We did those strips, the 3/4 inch by 3 inch, the strips. And again, if you had some paper that had a scene, that would look kind of cool if you kept them in order. And then these are the other triangle cards. So let's see, can I get these all on the screen? I think so. Yep, I think those are all on the screen. So there you go. They actually look really pretty together because it's all the same color palette. Really, it's just Night of Navy, Balmy Blue, and Petal Pink are pretty much the colors. And the green is Shaded Spruce and Mint Macaron. And then the sparkly, which is pretty much the same color. Alrighty, let's see. Thank you, I'm glad you, yeah, actually, Carolyn, these would make a great gift set. I might have to do that. I like it when cards all match. When, you know, like if you have a series of a class or something, they all kind of coordinate. I like that. I'm drawn to that. It doesn't always work out that way, but I like it. Alrighty, so again, I used the Regency Park paper. It's really pretty. I used the stamp set was Simply Succulents, and that is in the annual catalog. And there are dies that go with it as well, but I really do like the words. I like the font. I like what they say. You know, kind people are my kind of people. You know, it's like stampers. We're all kind of kind. But that could lend itself to a thank you or birthday or, you know, in any reason. Same thing with the you make the ordinary extraordinary, and then whatever the message is on the inside of the card. And the other two, thanks. And you've been on my mind, are pretty self-explanatory. But that's the stamps that I used. And again, I used for my die cutouts, because I wanted to kind of keep them all the same, I used the Stylish Shapes, which I will say is my all-time favorite set of dies in the annual catalog. You guys see me use them all the time, and they're great shapes, so that's why I use them all the time. And then I used the new navy ribbon. And then the leaves, just so you know, again, if you came on late. They are from the Brushed Bouquet stamp set, or the bundle, which I haven't even used yet. I've only used these leaves on these projects, but stay tuned for more projects with those leaves, or all the dies and the stamps. All right, that's what I had for you today. Thank you very much for watching and participating and commenting. It makes it so much easier for me to interact. And like I said at the beginning, I'm hoping I added the StreamYard to my computer, and I've half hooked it up, and so I just need to do a little practice, and so then I can kind of go back and forth between me and a better workspace. And then actually I think it live streams to YouTube as well, because you try to upload these to YouTube for those who are not on Facebook. I will take really pretty photographs of all the cards so you can have them, and then you can copy them, and I'd love to see what you make. So thanks again. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Don't forget, celebration's happening. So I didn't even talk about that. Every $50 you order, you can get something free from this catalog, and that is going on until the end of February. And the stamp set I used yesterday with all my cards was this one, the Sending Support. And I'll post those photos as well in case you missed them. So thanks. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.